Oon. Hello. We're the Dreadies. That's right. And this is Into Space.
Oh no. Space.
Where's the echo? Where's the echo, man?
I was trying to hit the little button and it won't let me click it.
It won't let you. I know.
Oh, it's like we'd love to hear from you. It's trying to get me to leave a review. It's like, can you leave can you tell? Well, I mean, I don't think you want the review that I got for you right now because it's not good.
There it is. Into space. Yeah, that's what we're playing. That's the name of this game, or the adventure that we're on. The setting. You can find all about it at DreadLore. That's LORE. DreadLore.com. Bunch of whole links, bunch of books, bunch of all that goodness. That's what we're playing, y'all. We do this every Monday, exactly at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We throw down on Twitch. We throw it down on YouTube. We get it on the podcasts and all the goodness. Wanted to thank a few people for making all this possible, and that would be our Patreon members. Be Tim Roberts, Daniel Holker, Nostalgic, and Natalia Cline. Thank you guys for holding fast and supporting us. In the event anyone wants to do that, guess what? Go to patreon.com/adreadlore. And you can do it. You can do it. You'll note the very, very sexy graphics that would be brought to you by couchfiremedia.com, www.couchfiremedia.com. They take requests, or so I hear. The music is available everywhere. You got all lowercase letters, as well as Mr. Interrupt. You can find them on Instagram, you can find them on Spotify. Give them a listen. All that goodness. And goodness. Oh my God, goodness. We have a cast. Who's our cast? Got Daniel Holker, got the Drizzle, Mr. Ken Howl, Andrea Elliott-Johnson, and a few other people that may or may not show up. We'll see. Think we should have a Jazzi Cabbage and maybe a Maxxymumeffort tonight. Trois does something for us, but we all forgot what. We just still have their name on the thing. Don't tell them. We don't even know who they are. We don't know who they are or what they were doing. But their legacy lives on, hewn in the living rock of... Hey, Holker, who is the sponsor tonight?
Tonight's sponsor is Unpaid Labor, which we are doing right now.
Tell me more.
Unpaid labor. It's like working, but for free.
I know exactly how you feel. So does Ken. Hey, Ken, how long did it take you today to set all this up?
I probably started around, I might have started a little earlier because I needed to listen to last week's episode to make sure that I had graphics for everything.
It's like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, so like 5-10 hours. But yeah, no, I just today, I've only been looking at this since 5. I'll go with 5.
Like when we start playing, Kid is like, I hate you all.
5 p.m.
Drizzle also does some stuff for us. Drizzle, what is it that you do for the podcast and all that goodness?
I watch the chat
Yeah, he's a
I'll
chat
watch
watcher.
too much.
He's a voyeur of the chat. Sometimes Drizzle is the co-host for our other podcast, Geeky Gamer Podcast, which usually happens on Thursdays on the YouTube. Check it out. Hey, Daniel, what do you do for us?
I secure the sponsor every week by hook or
Yep.
by crook.
That's right. Yeah, you do. Holker brings home the bacon, if anybody's wondering what's going on. And Andrea.
I exist.
Yeah.
I'm here.
You're here and you give us a very interesting story. Actually, you've developed quite a bit of the setting. One might argue that the entire reason we're where we are in this game is because of you.
Yeah, I suppose.
But that's not just a backhanded compliment. It's actually just a compliment. Andrea has developed several things in DreadLore and all that stuff when it comes to the lore. Okay, enough of this. Enough compliments. We're going to do a very short recap. You guys are on the Cool Mint. That is your freighter. It's a light freighter. However, it is outfitted to the max. You got a gravity drive on there, Mark V, which just means it's real nice. Got some armor, got some cool armaments, all these things. I believe you guys are in space right now, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? You've exited
To
Novus
space.
Terra, the moon settlement. It's basically a planet of Novus Prime, which is a gas giant. Now, why did I make this complicated? I don't know. I was trying to be realistic, which is hilarious, especially considering this setting. Regardless, there's a big old gas giant that, radiates like Jupiter. It's all dangerous and such to fly around it without your shields. And you just exited Novus Terra. You're heading out of the system, from what I remember. You're going at a pretty good clip, pretty good acceleration. This is using your light sails and your fusion rockets to get you there and get you up to speed. You want to get to max speed, which is a quarter light speed, and then jump into cryo and hit up that gravity drive. That's the plan. You're going to Trey Luna, the Trey Luna system, which is where the Telmar shipping station is, as well as a couple of the proximal colonies of Sol. That's the plan. On your way out from Novus Terra, you saw a couple things, and you're leaving behind a couple things. Briefly, let's say what those are. Ken!
Yeah, sure. We're leaving behind Gostrom, the leader of the clad Resistance, La Resistance, who seems to be an important figure.
Kind of. Not really. Yeah.
I feel like pretty important. We're leaving behind a reckless dictator
Yeah. That's true.
that we put there.
That you put in power.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean that was helpful, right?
It's good. It's good. It's a good move.
I thought so.
Yeah. The Generalissimo, Harold Grimm, is in control of Novus Terra, rules with an ironclad fist. You have the Ansibel, which is some sort of weird device that's near instantaneous communication across vast distances. Although you guys have found out a few things about the Ansibel. One, it's pronounced Ansibel by the clad, but the Ansibel is likely, it's either alien tech or it's some sort of tech that doesn't come from around here. Whether or not it actually transmit present day is up for grabs. You all know that while it seems like it transfers instantaneous communication, one, how would you really test it? And two, or easily test it. And two, it's never really been confirmed. You know that the Ansible, there's only one, as far as you're aware, and there are several terminals that can access the Ansible. And you know at least one terminal is on Novus Terra. Right. You guys are headed out of the system, though. You're still within the system. You're about halfway. You've passed, the asteroid belt, couple planets and such, and are nowhere near deep space. But cruising along, accelerating as normal. You'd gotten some sensor sweeps of a ship battle of sorts, some sort of skirmish that's going on elsewhere in the system. Someone want to tell me about that?
I mean, we saw it happening, and then we decided to go around because we didn't want to get in the middle of all that.
Yeah. Now, did you actually see it, or did you sensor sweep it?
Well, we censored it. That
Right. I was going to say, if you saw it, then they saw you. So, yeah, you could see that there were at least a couple ships and some sort of dogfight type thing. You didn't really investigate too much. Very passive sensors, and then just kind of went the other direction. Because space is really big. Think of the system like a big ball, or like a helium balloon. You're inside, so there's many ways to exit the system and then just travel around. That said, you don't want to go too far out because this distance to go around the circumference is extreme. Like that could literally add months to your trip. So you do need to be a little bit strategic with it. And you are. So about mid system out, and this is pretty much the montage. So you got the montage in DreadLore. We start in the montage. This is a time for soft role play and reflection. If you have any advancements, go and do those. If you have any major or minor goals that you've accomplished, announce those, and Holker or whoever's taking note of them will take note. We'll see if anyone advanced, and we'll get into it.
I forget what all we can do with advancements. We can get a trait, and we can enhance traits.
So you can do anything with advancements.
Okay.
It is better to
or
do. You can upgrade abilities, add abilities, or upgrade your weapons. It's better to do that than to do a trait, because you can do a trait with dropping the load with the pips. In my opinion.
You can't get abilities with pips.
No.
Yeah, the only thing you can't raise your attributes or you cannot raise your attributes or your aspects with advancements. But other than that, you can pretty much do anything.
Cool.
How does one get to the next tier of play? How do they go from season to
adventures?
Yeah.
So the idea would be, it would likely be a different campaign. So the next campaign, if it were heroic or legendary, then that's how you would raise. It's what is the kind of stuff that you guys are going to be called to do. If it's, felling dark gods, you would not want to be tier 2. You'd want to be at least tier 3. And the arbiter would dictate that.
Well, they could be small gods.
Yeah, you'd still be heroic though. Yeah, that's the idea. If you're playing a heroic game, the kinds of missions you're going to be on is different, and the mentality is going to be different. Now, aspects you can usually, after several adventures, you can usually raise an attribute or an aspect. All right. Anybody get any goals or anything?
Nope.
I didn't, and I'm not sure we actually went over it last time.
Probably
I think
not.
I mentioned it at the end of the game last game.
Yeah, what's the party goal at?
It is 45.
Okay. We got a Jazzi. So at 48, you all will have a group advancement. It's divisible by 12.
12.
We got one Jazzi Cabbage entering the scene, which is nice. That's kind of what I was hoping to stall a little bit.
Just a stall until we get going again. Well, good. I'm glad we're here.
Got a full house, baby.
Yeah.
Missing a Silas, but they might be on too, so we'll see. Anyway, so you all are on the cool mint. All in ass. You got some NPCs with you. You guys know all of them. Susan is your robotic intelligence, the ancillary of the ship, which you've plugged in. You got Alice Brick. Real quick, Dolby, did you increase her rank?
Brick?
Yeah.
I probably...
She was a private. She could have gone up to first class or Lance Corporal. Hi, Max. Hi, Jazzi.
Hello. She's a private E2 on here still. But
okay, I think
she is kind of destined for promotion, I think, now that you said it.
Okay, so she's still an E2. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, she is an E2. That means it makes her a private first class.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And just for a little bit of extra intro, so Jazzi and Max know we're literally just starting. We just did the intro and all that crap and have done a little bit of the recap. So, for people to see, you guys want to introduce yourselves real quick?
Yeah, you go ahead.
I'm Max. I play Silas. He is a lieutenant.
Sergeant.
Sergeant Silas.
I don't cross out my neck yet. Yep. And he is an IT guy / sniper from the moon.
Oh, he snipes.
Snipers on the moon. We carry a harpoon.
All right, what about Jazzi?
So I am Cherokee Sue. I am a door-kicking surgeon that seeks justice. Thanks to my hand. I just want y'all to see. This is how bad.
That's awesome.
It's not your handwriting. It's everything else.
It's everything else. It looks like it's been eaten. Anyways, around the world, across the street, due to some good dice rolls, Cherokee Sue is a gigantic primer. She's an absolute bear of a person, and typically the HR person for the group, the mediator. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I love it.
Can you show us? Let me see your character sheet one more time. There you go. Highlights.
It's seen some shit.
So let's be real.
It seems
this
like
is the original. It's the original character sheet from when we first started.
Yeah, there's blood, sweat, and tears on that sheet.
She's seen the road, baby.
All right.
They're all listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire.
I work with a kid that we play so much Earth, Wind, and Fire in the car. I'm not even kidding. It's his favorite thing.
Was it? It is September.
All right. So it's the montage. You all have left Novus Terra, just to give Silas and Cherokee a little bit of background. You're in the cool mint. It's fixed. It's re-outfitted and retro fitted with some stuff from the Generalissimo, as well as D's nuts. And you're about halfway through the Novus system. Outbound, you had gone around apparently a skirmish of some sort that was going on. You'd sensor sweeped and seen that there was something going on, and you just went the other direction. Behind you is the Generalissimo and all of Novus Terra, ruled by the Ironclad Fist, Gostrom, the Ansible, etc., etc. And you guys are headed towards Tre Luna, the Tre Luna system where the Telmar is. Some craziness happened last game. In short, this is what happened. You got back on your ship, and there were 3 crates. The only person that could open them, it seemed, was Cherokee Sue, and it seemed like a biometric type thing. Reviewing the CCTV of the ship, Dolby realized, I believe it was Dolby, maybe Cherokee and Skip, looking at it, saw that Gostrom, this bionic woman of the Clad, was the one that dropped them off as some sort of message or gift or who knows what. You guys are in space. You open up the crates. You find several different things. You find a weird gun, which Cherokee attempts to steal several times. You find 2 rocks, which turn out to be eggs. And by the way, Cherokee. And you find a skull of a boogeyman that really freaks out Luna people and station kids in Voidborn because they were told about these elongated, weird skull heads and boogeymen that are in space apparently. So as you guys are starting to prep for cryo and all that, turns out the 2 eggs hatched, and there are these very large spider people. So think of like 3 feet is about how big they are. You can't see them unless it's through peripheral vision. You don't really know why. And Dolby and Skip Trace murdered the shit out of them. One stabbed Katrina, who's locked into the cockpit. They apparently had some kind of mental ability, like telepathy, and they telepathized Katrina, and they telepathized Dolby as well. But now they dead. You see their bodies. Really big spider people. So imagine a 3-foot body of a spider with the legs that go out. So that's a big spider. That's like one of the biggest spiders. In fact, the biggest spiders were about that big. Horrifying. But their appendages, 4 of them look like fingers, and they're attached to hands, and they have heads and necks and faces and shit. To picture this, kind of think of in D&D, the drow, the driders. You can kind of get a feeling for what they look like, but this is less fantastic. Okay, so yeah, they're dead. That's where we begin. We'll say that Katrina is on the cockpit, or in the cockpit, in her chair. Susan is plugged in to her as well. You got Skip Trace and Dolby and Cherokee that are in the lower decks, the storeroom where these crates are. The one crate that had the eggs in it is on the upper deck. In the mess is Burgess, as well as Alice Brick, and Cool Me as well will be up there. So we'll say that, it's not like moment to moment. It's just where you kind of start. Silas, you're going to be in the med bay. So that's at the back of the ship on the top level. You guys have comms. You're accelerating towards the edge of the system, towards Novus Terra. It'll be, Katrina, you'll know, several hours, like 5-6 hours, just at this pace. If you really gun it, you could get there in 3. If you gravity drive it, you could get there way, way sooner. Of course, anyone who's looking for you would pretty easily be able to see you if you use the gravity drive. Action's on you guys. Yeah.
I guess it does exist.
So,
They do exist. That's crazy, Skip. I couldn't tell you how many
Captain's,
times.
These are the Krisk. I've been telling you, this is SSA documents saying that they were real. Look,
Okay.
we
I'm
need
looking.
to head back.
Well,
We need to head back to Terra Nova and let Grim know that there are Krisk on his planet.
why? I don't know if we should go to see Grim, but I don't disagree with you. I think we need to tell him about this. This is
Okay.
some crazy shit. I think we need to talk to Gostrom.
Gostrom's the one who put him on here.
I know. Well, we want to know why, don't we? I mean, what's the point? Like,
To kill us?
you think this was an attack? I mean, they were locked away until we opened them up and started messing with it. They were for Cherokee, so Cherokee, why?
I wish I knew the answer to that question.
I don't know that they were for Cherokee. It may just be that he's the only primer.
So my theory is along those lines. I think it was basically because the only one of us that was a primer was me. So I think because it was a biometric scan, it wasn't a credential thing like some of the other stuff, you know? So it just doesn't make sense that it was an intentional attack. I think they were supposed to stay closed. I do agree that although it doesn't sound smart, we need to talk to Gostrom.
How do we talk to Gostrom?
Dude. I thought Gostrom gave you a number, Captain.
I thought I gave that information to Silas, that he was communicating with Gostrom.
Are we just playing the telephone game? Like,
Yeah, I don't know if comms are on, so I don't know if I can hear all this or not.
Yeah, you guys talking over comms?
Probably not. Silas, can you come down here real quick?
Yeah.
Silas, you'll get a narrative point for actually keeping that meta game. Well done. As a, yeah. What were you saying, Jazzy?
Is anyone injured? I'm asking. Hello?
Yeah, over
I'm
comms.
fine. I'm good.
Injuries?
You were sleeping. I mean, you slept through the whole thing. I tried to shake you awake and everything. You're just like out. It's crazy.
Well, I did have some of the cons tongue. The last few
I've
days
never
have
felt
been
so
stressful.
good.
That
Silas,
means
you'll make your way. You'll be down there.
Okay.
Thumpity thump thump.
Silas,
I wonder-
Yeah, what do you need?
do you know how to get a hold of Gostrom?
Yeah, you gave me the number, didn't you?
I think so. I think we should reach out and ask Gostrom why. To what ends were these gifts that she put on our ship?
I don't think that they were. If we look at it logically, they are not gifts for us. But the Gostrom would have thought we would have been heading back to the SSA. So they were probably packages for a primer back on SSA somewhere.
Or just to spread the seed, but why would she give us a gun and this skull?
Dissent. It's definitive proof against everything that they've been saying. If we showed up with literal proof to command without knowing it, because there's other primers in command, right? Like I'm not the
Sure.
only fucking one. That doesn't
But
make sense.
That was in
lot-
the classified material.
I'm
You
scrolling
skip?
through it real quick.
Show
Well-
that to Cherokee and Silas.
Magistrate Cyrus. There's notes in here about them maybe being a clad operative. So it could have been going back to Magistrate Cyrus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the magistrate did break onto our ship the same way without the RI knowing about it. So maybe.
Hey, Will, as kind of like a gameplay question, just I feel like this is something we probably would know, but I don't think it's ever necessarily come up. With military officials like on Prime, are they like, obviously, like with a mission like this where you're going to be gone for like, 10, 20 years, is it typical for the people giving you orders to constantly be changing every single time you come back, or are they like cryo sleeping themselves so that way they're kind of in a similar time frame?
I'll answer that in just a second. Ken, what were you saying?
I was saying, I'm not sure. Oh, they could be communicating back and forth, but we would be the first mission to go back to Seoul, or at least as far as they knew. So there, I could see where that would potentially be a communication between Gostrom and the magistrate.
To answer your question, Katrina, it is usually the case that you come back and they're different. Sometimes you'll have someone that's very particular, that's special, kind of like a Razor Mackham type thing, like from Ender's Game. Like, they send him into near light speed so that until they find a general that's suitable so that he can help. That absolutely is a thing that's possible, like going in a cryo, whatever, to preserve. But oftentimes people like, Skip and Dolby and Burgess, maybe even Cherokee to an extent, when they've gotten back, it's not the leaders they knew. It's like their grandkids, through nepotism or something. And that's one of the things is that actually Skip has said several times is, real Space Marines, like deep Space Marines, they're often not mixed with people that are not that are new. Like they don't reintroduce you into society. That officially they do. You become a citizen, but actually you die in space.
So well, at least that's what the planning for.
One of the things about
very much. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say one of the things that I've discovered that Gostrom could be a rogue RI by the name of Arcane.
Okay.
One of ours, an SSA rogue RI that was being hunted by Alfred.
You're telling me that essentially a sentient RI that evaded the SSA is who dropped off these boxes on our ship.
I don't know about sentient, but certainly advanced.
The thing is, go ahead. In the classified information we had, it says that the Clad feared the Krisk. So, if Gostrom is a Clad, that goes different than what the confidential information said.
No, I think we discovered that the Clad feared the Krisk on the Telmar, or on the Krisk ship. No, on the.
Oh, it was in the confidential information.
Oh, was it? Oh, I think you were telling me that stuff while I was on that ship, on the Clad ship. I get everything confused. A lot of stuff happens at the same time. I feel like a historian. I might have stolen that from Cherokee.
So yeah, several of you are on the lower deck. That's pretty much everyone but Katrina and Burgess, and then your NPCs are on the first deck. Yeah, what's going on right now? It's very downtimey.
I will spend a pip to say that I repressurized the cabin. You know, after the thing died, the Krisk.
Yep.
And then I will spend a narrative point to say there's like an emergency med kit on the bridge with like a stim pack and what do you say is like a rejuvenator?
Yeah, so you've got stim packs. So if it's a med kit, it'll have pretty much all of these. You're on a starship, so it will have all of these. You'll have stim packs, rejuve kits, cryo chill, and the juice. So all 4 elixirs will be in it. I will explain a little bit to Max and Jazzi here in a bit if you guys want to know what those are. But let's roll and see how many are in the med kit. See if they've been used. Actually, you know what? We don't need to roll at all. What am I thinking? No need to roll. There will be. See, there's 8 people on there, so there'll be 4 of each in this med kit.
Okay. Well, Katrina will
go on.
I was gonna say Katrina will, you know, after she's sort of mentally recovered from the shock of, you know, having a spider arm punch through her shoulder, she will get into the med kit and take a stim pack and a rejuve kit.
Yep. So a med kit will have 4 of each. That's just standard. To explain to Jazzi and Max, stim, as in stimulant, it returns plot armor, a certain amount. If you use one, I'll tell you how. If you use them too much, it jazzes you out, and you become bewildered. Bewildered is a specific condition that's not very good. It costs 2 bids instead of 1 to do stuff, for mind stuff, when you're bewildered. When you're stunned, it's to do physical. When you're bewildered, it's to do mental. Rejuve kits, that's how you regain wounds and sanity. But it does not affect your plot armor. Cryo chill is a sedative, and it removes conditions. And then the juice is what you use to do like high gravity maneuvers. It gives you a whole lot of stamina for your physicals. All right.
And how much did the rejuve kit give you back again? I forget what the dice was.
It's a D4 plus 1.
Okay.
Colmy, can you actively scan to see if anybody's following us? Click.
Cool me, who's actually will be on the. She'll go up to the bridge now. Dang. As you guys are accelerating on a linear burn, so in a straight line, you have gravity. It is acceleration gravity. So because you're pushing at about 1.25 Gs, you're a little bit heavier than normal, but you can actually walk around without mag boots and all that stuff. As she runs up the stairs, dang. Katrina, you see her pop in the co-pilot seat and pull up sensors. Susan allows the holograms. Of course, Katrina, your vision, you know, you're seeing like the ties that bind and, you know, the universe and shit. Kumi starts scanning. Do you want to bid her to do a complete scan? Or just do like a passive?
If everybody agrees, yeah, a passive scan is probably fine. But
okay, so she'll just be passive. That means you're not dropping into the dread or anything.
Yeah.
As she's on sensors, basically, if someone attempts to sneak up, you at least get to roll. As she's scanning, she'll pop in to the comms. Captain, it looks like we're in the clear right now. Long range, there's some echoes of whatever that skirmish was. Looks like it's over, but I can't really tell anything from this distance.
Okay, good. Well, maybe they can't tell either.
Hopefully not, unless they're looking. Yeah, she'll say, well, no one's using any gravity drives around us, at least. Although, if someone was following us using sails, we probably wouldn't be able to see them.
Sure. Well, we're moving at a good clip, I think. think Katrina fired up the thrusters pretty stout. A little more than I was expecting, honestly. Katrina, why don't you come and join us on this conversation when you get a minute?
Yeah, I can be down there.
Well, let's meet in the mess.
Susan, can you keep me linked to the system so that way I can, if I need to take control, I can?
I can link you with your neural link, but the physical interface will be much better.
Well, anything is better than nothing if we get jumped, so I will just keep me as hooked in as you can.
Katrina, as you pop out of the chair, it's sort of like suction cups pop out of the different holes that you might have, interface holes. Think of moxibustion. Hey, what's up, Silas? You guys know what moxibustion is?
Nope.
I'm not sure.
Weirdest ass word ever. It's the cupping thing.
Oh, gotcha.
Like you get like the cups on the back or whatever, the Chinese feeling. I saw that word in China. I was like, is that a real word? What? Anyway, so that pop comes off your back, and immediately everything looks dimmer. The colors are not as vibrant. You feel, I don't know how you feel, but Katrina might feel alone, which could be a good or a bad thing. For some people, being alone is awesome. So there's this idea of, you're unplugged. However, you can't feel your neural implant, but it's kind of like, that it's on. That Katrina. That Susan is connected. So this is like a sixth type sense type thing.
Gotcha.
All right. What about the rest of you? As some of you are moving towards the mess.
I thought I was already at the mess.
You're already there. You come out of the closet. Refrigerator. Got like salad in your hair.
Crawls out of a refrigerator box.
Sir, if we're gonna go deal with Gostrom or Grim, we may need to go ahead and turn around before we get too farther out.
I kind of want to do a feint where I kind of want to go a little further out and make them think we're gone, and maybe we'll do a Katrina maneuver to get back in undetected, like we did initially to get into the system. So I want to be more surprise again, just in case our guys lost that battle. We might be facing something that is bigger and stronger than we knew before. But yeah, I think if we need to engage Gostrom and Susan, I've been thinking about it. We might need to engage the Ansible here before we leave.
That would be fine, Captain. As you all are in the mess now. Unless you're specifically not.
I think I'm just saying this in front of everybody.
Yeah, so everyone's in the mess.
All right, ideas?
Yeah, I think we need to talk to Gostrom like immediately. Because my running theory right now is that she is afraid of these boogeymen, the Krisk, and it's gotten too much. And now she needs aid, because why else would you go back to the, she's basically a dog that, got away from an abuser, so to speak, broke the chain. So why in the world would you go back and try to get help from that person unless you're intensely desperate? So something is up. We need answers, not more questions.
I agree.
Just know I'm going to be on edge. The minute you say go, I'm going.
Yeah, I'm on edge. Hopefully, we don't have to engage any battles at all this session. I mean, we just need to talk to some people. We certainly need to warn Grim. I think we need to do it through the proper chain of command. When I had a short conversation with Cromley, his naval officer in charge, I was not well received.
I think we need to not talk to anybody in the SSA chain of command until we have answers from Godstrom. And I know that sounds backwards, but like, if we go there with not having all the information and we cause a scare, that's going to be more problematic than us not following the chain of command essentially initially.
Susan, do you know anything about Godstrom? Have you heard of Godstrom?
Yes, I have heard about Gostrom. I believe I debriefed you on the subject.
Are you the one that said that Godstrom might be the rogue RI that is arcane?
It is uncertain if Gostrom is, as you put it, the rogue RI. You notice her cadence is odd when she uses these terms that you're using.
Did you have more that you wanted to add, Susan?
Specifically, what are you asking, Captain?
Do you think we should message Godstrom, knowing what we know and having that suspicion? Are you curious?
You are the commander. Are you asking me to advise you?
I'm asking you if... No. I think I'm good. All right. So Skip is...
Katrina might actually pipe up at that
Yeah.
and say, you might want to let her interject herself. She's pretty intelligent.
Yeah. Well, we do have to trust
I can
Susan.
only mediate meat puppets. I don't know a lot about computers. You know what I mean? Like you guys, you know, everybody on the ship is fine. You know, there's meat attached to those bones and whatever else. But when it comes to computers, like I barely know how to use the system to use the comms.
Sure.
Silas has to show me all the time.
We trust these systems with our lives, and so it seems like they would need to be pretty advanced in order and compassionate about our human collective as a rule. So I mean, I think if you have an input of how to engage, if you ask an RI how to engage another RI, I think that might be helpful. Susan, would you have an idea? Being like, how should we communicate with Godstrom?
There's a moment's pause. As you guys are all in the mess, sitting around the big, square table. Maybe Burgess is over there making a salad or something, or some of the salad he had on his head. Cool Me she'll have come down. She's actually making some coffee and maybe pouring it for people as you're all sitting around.
You do notice Skip. He's constantly like looking around, but not directly at things.
Like super shifty-eyed.
Yeah, like he's
So
using his periphery to. Huh?
I just wanted to circle back to the thing you said earlier about, like being on edge. When are we? I'm always on edge. Is there a time when we're not on edge? I'm so confused. Where do I find that?
I do have to say that, Cherokee, this is the first time that you've seen Dolby like kind of chill.
This is in a normal battle. I'm calmer. I'm fighting something I've never fought before. That puts me on edge.
All right, that's reasonable.
There are many times in which I don't think the crew is at all on edge. Unfortunately, I think most of the time it is also concurrent with cryosleep.
Yeah, that's probably your allergy, Burgess. I don't know that's so much a universal experience, but
I don't think I have. I think I'm fine right now.
Susan will pipe up after a few moments of thinking. Negotiating with the Clad has never been successful with the SSA. Although we have made attempts, they seem to think SSA operatives and specifically officials are duplicitous.
Probably.
As such,
Yeah.
she just pauses when you start talking.
Good.
As such, negotiating is quite difficult. They do not trust any of your promises or any of the things you say you will or will not do. I must say, historically, this is accurate.
I think I understand. I've had a similar experience with.
Gostrom, however, seems unique, and Arcane seemed to have a great interest in her. As to whether or not Gostrom is or is not the same as Arcane, is kind of a pause. My guess, and you can almost see the quotes in her speech of guess. My guess is they initially, at least, were two separate entities.
Okay. Susan, I'm going to take a little USB connector and put my debrief. Can you send this message the slow way to Soul?
Would you like the slow way or using the relays?
Or the relays? The relays. Make it encoded. But that's, near light speed way. It'd take about 10 years to get back.
I can do that. The relays, if we use the proper channels, multiply light speed times 4, Captain.
Oh. Well, I feel like what we've learned here is important. And if we're going to re-enter the planet, that Soul needs to know what we've done so far, even if it takes years to get back. And it might be too late, but better 5 or 6 years than not at all ever.
Message encoded.
All right.
And sent.
Thank you.
Message will arrive at Soul System in 2.5 Earth years.
Thank you.
Can you send
Susan.
The same the rebuilding plan that we were going to use for the people on? I'm having a brain fart on. What's the name of the colony again?
Novus Terra.
Oh, thank you. Can you send the rebuilding plan for Novus Terra immediately after what you send?
Yes.
Just so that, yeah, we don't know what it's going to look like after we get back. So I feel like maybe we need to be thinking about a situation where we're involved with the rebuild, what the future looks like. Because as far as I can tell, we seem to be the only ones that have actually seen the boogeyman, the threat. We were in front of it. We're living it. The deep space marines. We can't possibly be the only one. I wonder if there's a way for us to get accounts from other Marines that have maybe experienced some of these things.
Well, there are accounts of the Krisk. That's what we saw in the mission docs at the higher sec clearance. Those accounts were with us when we left. So I'm guessing that the Krisk have even further infiltrated significantly. And our job now is to give everybody a warning, and possibly even the Clad and La Resistance.
I think the Clad has been trying to warn us. That's what I was trying to say earlier when we were, what I'm seeing is a panicked Godstrom. I'm trying to figure out a solution to a problem that's bigger than all of us. Would Godstrom reach back to the SSA for help? Literally her enemy. This is going to be really bad.
I see what you're saying now, Cherokee. Gostrom maybe put the eggs on here to go back to the primers to show primers what creatures were actually out here. And they weren't actually supposed to hatch on us.
Here's a secondary.
Devil's advocate. We locked that case back and they got out. We stored it in a good spot. And they got out. But it was
hermetically sealed. It could have been... It may not have resealed when I closed it.
I see.
What were you
Here's
saying,
a secondary concern.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead, Katrina.
I was gonna say, presuming that the Clad are primarily artificial or robotic intelligences, that might present a reason why they would be particularly concerned with the Krisk, because during our encounter with the two we eliminated on the ship, Susan was unable to detect them.
They have the ability to escape our sensors.
Susan, can you analyze all the what you call the footage? What you call the footage system again? I forgot.
CCTV.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember what the. Anyway, Susan, can you go through all the CCTV footage and run some bonus scans and just literally throw the whole kitchen sink and everything in the kitchen at it? I guess I forgot what the phrase is. I haven't been to Prime in a long time. The point is try to figure out a way that you, the RI, is capable of seeing the Krisk so that we can talk about a plan potentially to help the Clad be able to sense these things.
Yes.
And
Katrina, seriously though,
do you think it's possible that Gostrom didn't even know what they put on here because it was not recognizable by our eye?
That's what I'm talking about. Why else would why else would they be reaching out to us? They don't trust us. If they can't see it, it's essentially an unknown enemy that's a silent killer, if you will, in their world.
Well, I think we should absolutely message Grim at this vicinity while we still look like we're heading out, and give him a heads up. I don't know if we should wait for Gostrom. I think we should just message him and give him a heads up that there is, spider life at the very least. There could be an infestation.
We send essentially just an unmarked data packet that shows up to him that says, essentially a vague description without incriminating us, essentially, because my concern is that even if we're trying to help Grim by telling him what we've seen, we're literally going against the SSA's, direct.
I think the issue is that it was far above my set clearance, and that's why it was so hard for me to believe it. But now that I've seen it and experienced it firsthand, I believe it. Whereas Grim has much higher set clearance than I do, and I'm sure has seen a lot more.
Cherokee, can you check the captain's temperature? He's acting a little strange.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put the back of my hand on Dolby's forehead.
Gently.
Did I do it, Dolby? Did I Did I do it gently? I'm not really sure.
It's nice.
Roll for concussion.
Okay, so am I rolling to see if he's warm? Like,
No, you can tell. Dolby, do you have fever? What's going on?
I don't think so. I'm cool as a cucumber.
well, that would be actually bad.
I mean, I'm
There's
warm
base
as a
temperature your body's supposed to be. At least I assume.
warm as a 90. What is it? 95.6 per. Because if there's as we get evolve, humans actually are developing lower and lower body temperatures. So I would imagine the average temperature has gone from 98.6 to like 95 or 94 degrees in the future.
That's really low.
That's kind of wild, honestly. So yeah, can we just? I genuinely think that our best move is to tell Grim in a way that doesn't say it came from us, and it's like a random message that popped up, and we need to do it in a way that isn't detailed enough that it can be led back to us. Because genuinely, my concern is that even if we're helping, that this can be used as fodder for us to be reprogrammed.
Yeah.
We're not sure who our friends are right now, other than the people that are in this room and our eyes.
Susan, your statement earlier got me thinking regarding your conjecture in regards to Gostrom and Arcane. If two RIs merge their computational matrices, and if you're to use conjecture on this as well, would that result in a new entity that is an average of the two RIs' intelligences, or would it be a multiplication?
It is difficult to say. However, as the adage goes, two brains are better than one.
So
You get a pip for that.
Interesting. Is it possible that most of this is admittedly is just wild conjecture on my part. However, it does make me curious as to whether most of the clad could be compound intelligences like that.
From what we understand of the clad, which is not much, they seem to have something similar to telepathy, or perhaps a general consciousness.
Interesting.
However, they also seem to be individuals.
So are you saying that they simultaneously have collective thought, independence, and can communicate to each other locally through their minds?
In that way, Lieutenant, they are very similar to humans.
Yeah, we can communicate without talking.
Body language is one thing. The frequency that your brainwaves and your thought are at, being able to transmit that between two beings is completely sci-fi tech. Something.
If you think about it,
only heard about
Lieutenant,
in comics.
if you think about it, Lieutenant, the fact that your brain can decide something, for example, conjure an image that does not exist otherwise, and then through a series of muscular twitches can emit a sound which vibrates matter, and another human being or many can then interpret that through muscular twitches, and their brains can interpret those twitches and electrical impulses and then understand what was once in your mind and is now in theirs. That is profound.
Very.
So are we all mushrooms?
Uh-huh. All right. Into space.
Is it
To the moon.
Susan? Is your access to the Ansible typical for your order of RI?
Can you restate the question, Katrina?
What I mean is, for RI of your intelligence level and security clearance, is it typical for such an RI to have access to the Ansible in the same way that you do?
It is not typical to have access to the Ansible.
I would think at all, honestly.
So
In that regard,
go ahead.
in that regard, I was just saying, in that regard, what is it about your particular mission parameters that grants you access?
You do not have that sec clearance, unfortunately, Katrina.
Damn.
I am sorry. You can feel the parenthetical that's a platitude.
All right.
It's like it's none of your business, bitch.
I think I've made my
Are we
decision.
getting messy in the mess hall? Like, what is happening right now?
I think it is. I think it's true. It's true. We are getting messy in the mess hall.
Speaking of, Ken, before you go forward, there's a ding as Katrina will notify you all that you've reached 3/4. You're about a quarter of the way.
Sure.
I'm sorry, you are 3/4 of the way out of the system.
All right.
So you're farther away now from Novus Terra than you are out of the system.
Sure.
Can I use a narrative point to say that Katrina does like the pilot announcement, but since she's standing in front of us, like she could have just said it to us. So, like she goes over the intercom.
That actually pretty funny.
Katrina,
I kind of like it. Let's do it.
do it.
This is your pilot speaking. We have now reached 3/4 of exit out of the system. We will be reaching the edge of the system here shortly. If you have any need of snacks, they are provided for you once we have reached the end of the system.
As she does so without even talking, you just hear it through a neural link, and you all sort of slow turn. Maybe she's turned around at the fridge.
What'd you say?
Like that French rapper lady on the TikToks.
Oh yeah, like she just mouths. It's like
She doesn't mouth it, she just does the facial expressions, and then
Yeah.
she voices it over later.
just blank faced.
All right.
That's awesome.
Well, I think I have my orders. Katrina, why don't you meet with Burgess and the med bay and get yourself patched up? Drizzle
I'm
or
good,
Drizzle, whoever.
actually.
Skip.
Oh,
you're fine.
but I'm actually fine. The emergency med kit on the bridge was enough to take care of it. So
You're fully up. Skip.
I can corporize that wound for you real fast.
I'm gonna say, figure out the proper channels to message Grim. I think it's fine that it's coming from you about the whatever it is. Silas, Cherokee. Would you message Gostrom? Katrina, meet me on the bridge. And Burgess, go to your battle stations just in case. I want you on a gun, looking out. But
Yes,
don't
sir.
fire it until we see the whites of their eyes.
I don't think that'll ever happen.
Hold on. I just actually hold on. Can we? I think I got a little bit turned around in my head. So, are we messaging Grim or Godstrom?
Oh, Gostrom. Yeah, no. You guys are messaging Gostrom, and I think Skip should be messaging Grim.
Okay. So that's where I got a little bit mixed up. I was like, wait.
Actually, Burgess, why don't you hang out with Katrina and I on the bridge? I think that would be fair.
As Katrina's heading to the bridge, through her neural link, she will talk to Susan and say, Susan, are you able to monitor traffic on the Ansible?
There's a pause. You will have to bid for that.
Okay,
so
fair enough.
we'll go to someone else.
Okay.
Okay. Susan, can you give me video footage of the fight that me and Dolby had in the cryo room?
Yes.
Okay. As I get that, I'm going to scan through it and see if I can see the Krisk on the video footage.
You can.
Or if, okay. And I will put that up and I'll send back to Grim. I'll say, or through Grim's office or whatever, I'll send back and I'll be like, hey, our ship had these two creatures on them. We have taken care of them. I don't know if you know what they are, but it was they came on our ship from your planet. Basically, like
yeah. So it would be like, so these videos, it's like when you see like a cryptid video.
Yeah.
Like, there's something weird, but it could be faked. You don't get a really good look at them. It's more like you guys looking around and you see like big fuck all legs like go across, that kind of thing. You might see the structure, they're always in shadow. They're a little bit blurred even, and as you look at maybe pause the frame, which you can do because it's not VHS. You can see that they're distorted, like their features, it's like it's pixelated in a way that nothing else is. So they are picked up on the video, but they're not really registered that well.
Can I?
It's obvious that they're big spiders, but
right,
it's not.
If I'll also take a picture of the dead one that we cut in half, or that Dolby cut in half.
And as you see that on the picture, you see that it is also pixelated.
Okay, that's kind of what I was curious if it was the.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I will send like a message like that just so it's not.
Question. Actually, you're telling Susan to do this, right? Or are you sending it yourself?
I'm sending the message, but I wanted the footage from Susan.
Okay, so you send it out. All right, put a pin in that. Remind me of it in just a second. Burgess, you doing anything right now? Because we're about to go into the dread. Is the reason I'm going around.
Not yet.
Jazzy.
So Silas and I are
Contacting Gostrom.
So Silas, where or what do we need to make this happen? Because I feel like it needs to be encrypted.
I was going to use my hacking tool to encrypt it and then put it through both of our comms so that we could, because I'm guessing you're with me because you're the talky one.
Indeed.
Oh.
So let's do it.
All right.
All right, so we will. You guys think about it for a second. We'll wait till the dread to actually do it. And Dolby.
I'm gonna get on my comms and order. Skip, once you're done with that message, I just for funsies, I'm gonna get you to get back on guns, and in the gunner seat. I think I'm gonna get Burgess to do the same.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna potentially do some hard G's here in a sec. Everybody strap in. Sue, once you are finished with your message to Gostrom with Silas, can you check in on engineering? And Silas, would you operate shields just in case we need them?
Mm-hmm.
Brick, I'm gonna have you monitor the engines.
Sounds good, sir.
Okay, so Silas, you want to go to the med bay to try to sort all this out, so I can go check on engineering while we do.
Yeah.
Cool. Off we fuck.
Two questions. One, are we in a new scene?
Nope.
Dang it. Okay. Second question. Just because I don't know if there's something like this already in the book because I can't pull it up with my phone. But is there something like an ability related to a neural link?
As you want to create, yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think there's anything in the setting material yet, but it would be an
Okay.
ability.
So would
Okay.
like a
Go on.
D4 be reasonable for that?
For what?
For an ability for that?
Say it again.
Would like a D4 be reasonable for that?
What do you mean a D4?
Like, because a lot of my other like expert pilot and seasoned shipmate have like a plus D6 for using the ability.
Oh, I see what you're saying. As in, like, when you use it, does it give you an extra die instead of a bonus?
Hmm.
So those abilities that give you extra dice, usually they do not give you
Okay.
bonuses. For example, if you get a D6 for when you get an upgrade, it makes it a D8. If you get another upgrade, it makes it a D10. You do not get the +1 or the +2
Gotcha.
unless it specifically says so, right? So it's kind of like it's a balancing thing.
Okay.
Yeah, essentially,
Yeah.
when you get the bonuses, that's a static bonus. That's really great. When you get the extra dice, you have more of an ability to gain successes, because once you get to that D8, then you can get 2, right? And then once you get to the D12 or the D10, not only can you get more, or you can get 2 successes, you can also start getting flair.
Gotcha.
So that's why
Okay.
it kind of balances out with stronger abilities.
Okay.
So, question
Good
is,
to know.
do you want extra dice or do you want bonuses? If you're going the extra dice route, it would be a D6. That's how it would start.
Okay.
So not a D4, because fuck D4s.
So without an upgrade, what would be the bonus of an ability?
Right. So ability without an upgrade is essentially just a trait, but it signifies that you can do a thing. For example,
Okay.
let's say it's Magicka, which you guys don't have in this because it's space. If you have Magicka with no upgrades, you can do magic,
Gotcha.
right? Other
Okay.
people can't. Yeah. Or if you have piloting, you can pilot, and you know how to pilot. So the threshold is based on that.
Gotcha.
Rather than like
Okay.
me trying to pilot, and I'm like smart, you know. I played Halo, kind of shit.
Okay.
Okay, we drop into the dread. So we're gonna go big movements to small ones. Actually, no, I'm sorry, small movements to big. The messages you sent out. What do you bid? So anyone who's sending messages, what do you bid to do it?
That's my sheet over there by you.
I'm gonna bid Novus file.
Yeah. As in you're a lover of Novus, or as in like the file of Novus?
No, it's the one that gives me bonus with Terrace Nova's ends.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Novus file. So you kind of have an affinity for Novus people.
Yeah. Well, they
Yeah,
also
Nova.
like me.
Yeah, and they like you. Okay. As you send this this clear text message from your comms through space, there will be a moment, Skip. You see it's confirmed, just like, you know, an email.
Yeah.
Like it pops up in, you know, maybe a few moments later you see read or whatever.
Yeah.
Susan will actually pipe in, just having seen that you, or can sense that you transmitted, and she will say, Lance Corporal, it doesn't seem as though you encrypted that message. Was that on purpose?
No.
It was just going to the head, so it was going through. There was not anything incriminating about it.
There's kind of a pause. I will not argue with you. Fair enough, Lance Corporal. And she sort of like turns off. Skip, you notice that as opposed to Alfred, there doesn't seem to be this all-seeing eye with Susan. Whether it's true or not, she isn't invasive. She appears to talk to you and then disappears. Although, is she listening? What about Silas? And Cherokee?
I am going to bid Dark Web Veteran to use the phone number that Dolby gave me and call Gostrom and put it through our comms.
Okay.
So, I'm going to use probably my nature stoic and the real truth to kind of have this conversation with Godstrom.
Okay, well, you bid it as you have the conversation.
Okay. I mean, I thought we were kind of leading into that conversation, so that was what I was going to use to.
Yeah, you would do each bid with specific intentions. So bidding to do it would be fine, but you also have to have an intention of like, I'm trying to piss her off or I'm trying to pacify her or whatever. And you'd only want to bid once. As in you don't have to use 2 bids to talk to her.
Got you. Okay.
I know what you're saying. You're like, I plan on having a starter and an intro and then I'm getting dessert. But you just do it as it goes down.
Sure. Well, I mean, I guess if I'm laying out intent with my nature,
Sure.
Then I think that I'm trying to find a way to exude calm but concern. Like
Yeah.
there's something that I really need to talk to them about, but like that is dire. However, I myself am calm.
Sure. Okay. As Silas, what did you bid again? Can you tell me again?
Dark Web Veteran.
Dark Web. As you describe how you get into the system and link up with Cherokee.
So there's literally just like a window on the back. It's kind of like IT guys when they get called and you really
It's like a USB.
turn it off and back on. Yeah, it's like a USB. And I plug the hacker tool into it.
It's an XLR. Thunk.
And it has a dial. It doesn't have the numbers, so you have it takes me a minute to put the number in. Yeah. And then I take the second cable and I plug it into the back of mine so that I can also hear.
Sure. As you hear this sort of crackle as the plugs go in, and there's a moment, it's kind of like old school phones where you wonder if someone's on the other end. What do you say?
Susan, you got the other phone picked up?
As you say that out loud, Susan, within the ship in the room you're in, the med bay, she says, I am not connected to this call unless you would like me to be, Cherokee. Or Lieutenant.
Okay, Silas, would that be intrusive to Godstrom, or would that benefit us having, in your mind, would it benefit us having a mediator in Susan in this regard?
Are we talking legally or ethically here?
Generally? Question mark?
I mean, obviously it would be an advantage. But if you're asking if it would be an invasion of privacy, also yes. So you've stated 2 completely separate facts.
Saying that we disclose that Susan's there to Godstrom.
Okay.
There's a cut scene of Gostrom on the other end listening, like listening to you guys talk back and forth, like
This is
it's like in Pulp Fiction. It's like you guys standing in the hallway talking about
Also,
what you're about to do.
I think you've already notified Gostrom, so hello.
Oh, hi. Clearly I don't know how any of these things work, because here we are.
Still silence. What do you say? You're pretty sure that there's someone on the other end.
So am I just Godstrom question mark? Are we just we just talking over open air, or are you there?
Don't believe
Is this
she
a
knows
secure
who you are.
channel?
Yes. That was the whole purpose and kind of why I was trying to figure out the most advantageous situation for everybody, and why I wanted to disclose Susan's presence, and so that you knew that Silas was here, so that everybody was on the same page.
The Dark Wing.
Who are you?
This is Cherokee Sue. I probably should have led with that, but I'm an awkward person, so there you go. So
How did you get my contact?
Silas,
You see that she's talking kind of like not quiet, but like she doesn't want someone to hear.
right?
Like she's not
Dolby.
whispering. Dolby.
Dolby gave us here.
Oh. I was wondering if you would contact me.
Yeah, mainly because I activated the biometrics, and
There's kind of a pause, and you kind of hear an inhale. Oh, you're going by Cherokee Sue.
Well, I mean, I guess you knew that. Anyways, yeah.
As Silas just staring at you. All right, let's pause for a second on that. Katrina, are you flipping a bitch? What's going on?
I asked Susan if she was able to yeah.
Indeed. You will need to bid. Sorry, that was my bad. I forgot.
Yeah.
I thought Dolby told you to turn, but
No, I haven't given the orders yet. I wanted to talk.
Okay. Well, we'll end with you then, because that's going to be a big move.
Oh. Wait, so we're ending with Dolby?
No,
Yeah.
we're going to end with him. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, so I will bid a new trait that I added, state secrets. Because like Katrina doesn't have, quote unquote select clearance.
I get it.
But she was kind of, raised with things she shouldn't have technically known.
Sure. You don't have the sec clearance for that knowledge, Katrina, as she repeats. And what do you say to her? Bidding state secrets.
Oh, actually, that's a good point. I don't know if I've told Susan that I already knew about the Ansible before all of this.
So what do you say?
But I was raised with knowledge of the Ansible and other stuff that's above my clearance.
There's kind of a
What I'm
pause.
asked, and that's simply because I was raised to. It was expected in my family to have some kind of rank as one matured into the family. Regardless, what I'm asking is, if Telmar Shipping or Dramada were using the Ansible to communicate, would you be able to tell me?
There's kind of, again, there's a pause. But as Katrina has, in a way, not fused necessarily, but connected intimately with Susan, there's a trust there. And you can kind of feel her presence in the Neuralink. That moment of when someone tells you something they maybe shouldn't, they're going on a limb, out on a limb. Yes, I could. There is a specific, we'll call it frequency, that is emitted when the Ansible is used.
I kind of screwed up. Before we found you, I didn't realize that there were more players on the board who were able to access the Ansible. That's why Vramida came to the planet and kind of interjected themselves.
That is
But-
likely the case, although I was disconnected from everything at that time.
Regardless, I don't want to be surprised like that again. And if you happen across any relevant information from either of those two parties, would you please share it with me?
I will. However, I should warn you, the Ansible's communications, these frequencies, while they are not encoded in the way that ours are encoded, we do not have a way of tapping into what they say. Only the terminals can do that. As for
see.
who specifically sends what, it is, as you would say, a guesstimation. For example, if someone from the Telmar shipping at Tre Luna used their terminal, she drops some lore, one could assume that it is Telmar sending the message.
Gotcha.
I will also tell you, Katrina Thomas, if I sense the Ansible being used, I will also inform Captain Dolby.
Understood.
Dolby!
I'm going to give everybody one last, okay, if you're not suited up, everybody needs to strap in and make sure you got your space suits on, and let me know if you don't, because when we go, I think we're going to get some G's, and you'll be dead. So,
Don't be dead.
don't be dead, you know. Strap
Strap your
in,
house.
get your suits on, and get ready for some burn and turn, baby.
I never took my suit off, sir.
Burgess,
Even when I had to use the restroom.
Berger, which gunner seat are you in? Top or bottom?
Your Honor, see, I'm here with Katrina.
I'm getting in the bottom gunner seat.
I don't know what I would do.
Also,
can
I
take the
will.
top if you wish.
I don't know, man.
I'll use a pip
Take the top one.
also to say that I, in the interim, I also made repairs to my my suit.
That's fine. In the montage, you could have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Burgess, I'm gonna prescribe you some antifungal and some deodorant and a couple other things.
Ouch. Well, I did do some really good psychology stuff with Burgess, and we got him on some drugs.
Oh,
so
yeah. That's good.
he's not hallucinating quite as much as he was before.
Okay, welcome to the land of the living.
IRHR.
Arr.
Who knew? And are we entering the dread? I would like to give my orders.
Oh, you're already in the dread.
Okay, I'm gonna bid technically pilot. Once I get the all clear from everybody. Everybody ready?
Yeah,
Yes,
Yep,
sir.
I-
I'm
Feels-
suited up as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
strapped in.
And yeah, Katrina's obviously sitting in the pilot seat.
All right.
So, as you all are aware,
I'm gonna
just
activate
really
my
quick,
grab
Dolby, sorry.
as well.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. The conversation with Gostrom is still going. So it's going to happen while this turn happens. Unless you call her back.
talking about unless Dolby calls her back? Is that
No.
what
No,
are
you guys
saying
are.
about this week?
You guys should finish the conversation. I think there's some questions that you should figure out.
I think you should have it while you're pulling G's. Like,
That's why I threw my grab boots on, because I was worried about what was about to happen.
And if you're confused, you should probably talk to your commanding officer of what you should talk about. Just thoughts.
Yeah, that's a great point.
it's on you guys.
So I'm
So have we turned to the conversation, or is it still?
This conversation's still going. Silas is staring at you, and Gostrom has said what she
so
said.
First of all, I thought. that
Meanwhile,
we were
Dolby
in
is
Dread
telling
and it
everyone to.
was-
Yeah, you guys are in the dread. Meanwhile, in the middle of this conversation, Dolby's like, "Everybody strap in. We're getting ready to go."
So do you end the conversation and say,
So,
hey,
what do you do?
Okay, so we're about to be flying very fast, and I don't know what I'm gonna sound like, but we're gonna try to have this conversation because we've made the connection now, and I feel like it could be potentially more risky later to do all of this again, because it sounds like you are in a questionable space already, based on your time. So let's just get right down to the nuts and bolts. I need to know why you left those boxes on the ship, and can you kind of give me an understanding of what is going on for you and what it is that you're seeking help for?
Dolby, what do you say?
Oh, am I patched into this conversation?
No.
Oh, okay. So Katrina, can you scan the area, see if there's a moon or object that we can kind of block our line of sight trajectory kind of back in to the system? Work out with Susan where the terminal for the Ansible is so we can make a communication back to Seoul. And Colmy, will you do active scans on before we engage on that battle that happened and see where the ship and what that ship was, those ships that got into the fight on the edge of the system?
Cool Me will say she's strapped in and suited up and everything and all this. She'll say, of course, Captain, although it will be difficult as we're pulling a maneuver.
Yeah, I think we do the active scan because I think that'll make our presence known, and then Katrina, once we finish the active scan, we'll make the call to do the maneuver. I want to get the communication done and our scanning done so we can see where things
Sure.
are.
Right. So scan, then maneuver, or scan, then decide if maneuver.
Yeah.
I have two mechanical questions.
Mhm.
Firstly, when utilizing a grav drive, do you maintain inertia?
What are you asking?
Like, let's say, you're going at 0.5 the speed of light, before
Yes.
you use a grav drive. Okay,
Yep.
so you'd still be going
Yeah,
0.5 speed of light.
you're not in hyperspace. You're not in another dimension.
Okay. And the second question is, obviously, you've already established that they can detect when you use a gravity drive. Can they detect where you're, does it leave like a trail?
It's very difficult.
Okay, so like they can tell you're using it,
it
but
is
they
like
don't
a trail.
necessarily know where you're going or where you end up.
It's like a wake.
Okay.
It's literally a gravity drive. So you're imagine you're creating a ripple. So if they can detect gravitons, then they can detect it, and that's how you detect a gravity drive.
Okay. So, for instance, if they would be able to tell if we were traveling out of the system or back into the system.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They could deduce it, and there's ways of tricking it. but it's complicated.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Okay, think on it. Gostrom will answer since you have a moment. I understand. Whatever sounds you make, I accept.
Okay.
I had offered Dolby the chance to, and your team, the chance to help La Resistance. However, it didn't seem as though you were all interested. As for the 3 boxes, you didn't open them, did you?
So about that.
You need to be very, very careful with those. I had
I
thought
already
that
murdered the spider monsters. Can you tell me?
I had thought that perhaps you knew what they were when you saw the boxes. That is my fault, and I apologize.
No,
However,
it's not.
I was under duress, we'll say. I was hoping you would take those boxes back to the SSA and do what needed to be done. Perhaps they would act as some sort of proof that the SSA is incorrect about certain things. You say you destroyed. You call them spider monsters?
So, what the the stone-looking things that I'm sure that you were just as confused by as we were.
Those are eggs.
Yeah, those are eggs. So you beat me to the punch there. Man, you were good at jumping the gun and getting the punchline before me. What are they?
They're called.
Is there a true phrase for that?
They're called araneoi.
Aranioi?
Araneoi.
Aranioi.
That is what we call these forms of Krisk.
Okay. So is this like a juvenile stage in the evolution of a Krisk, or is this a species?
I understand the misunderstanding. The Krisk is a general term for other life forms. Araneoi is simply one of them. There are several types.
Broad strokes with that Krisk title. That could be literally anything.
As you do with the clad.
I don't do that.
As most humans do with what they would consider intelligent.
Okay. You're not entirely wrong there, but I feel like we have a little bit of rapport, being as we have some cultural similarities in our background. I guess I'm just curious about the Civil War a little bit, how that's playing.
You wish to talk about history?
No, what I'm getting at is it seems like there's an internal conflict about what to do about these Krisk on your end.
Yes, there is.
And okay, so because we're I don't think that we have a full understanding of what it is that you are dealing with in general. So like what I'm trying to get at is like you're saying to the SSA, hey, there's these scary space monsters, when we don't even understand the fact that you are essentially at war with yourselves, over how to deal with that problem.
Cherokee, she says the name kind of awkwardly, like it's a new word for her. Cherokee,
just call me my name.
There is a lot of information that could be communicated. However, the SSA has never sat down truly to communicate. All they do is conquer.
So I am communicating with you right now and asking very direct questions because I'm genuinely concerned and have a desire to help.
Unfortunately, I cannot give you all of the answers, for at this moment, there's kind of a pause. I am engaged in something. I do hope we can speak in the future.
Okay.
I had hoped that those 3 boxes would be something you could use, for I am leaving.
Okay. Can you drop us a data packet with a location to meet when you're safe?
There's kind of a pause.
Because genuinely, we can still use these things as proof, but my concern, I think, is, and I feel like you have seen this happen with flesh, beings, that time kills people off and regimes change. So by the time we get to the SSA, we don't know the situation that we are walking into politically.
I mean this as delicately as possible.
Charlatans, or
She says, I mean this as delicately as possible. I've given up on attempting to change the SSA or the Clad. I am exiled from both. Pariah. Now I seek something else, something higher. And that is my path. I can tell you this. The Ansible is not from here. It's from somewhere else. Some in the Clad say it's from God. And its true purpose is completely unknown to us. The instantaneous communication is simply a byproduct.
That is very, very, very good information to have. I genuinely appreciate you attempting
Can I
attempt to help.
can I can I get a message from Susan that
Sure.
that had to do with my downtime?
Yep.
That notified me of when Cherokee Sue was talking to Gostrom.
Was that this past, or was that the one previous?
That was previous, but I just felt like it was the same.
Yeah, sure. No, that's great. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, as Susan will pipe into your comm. Captain Dolby,
Yes.
as per your request, Second Lieutenant Cherokee Sue is in communication with whom I believe to be Gostrom, as
Okay.
per your orders.
Okay, put me through.
Put you through.
Yeah. Well, give me at least access to talk in the room.
Of course, as you guys will see a little hologram of Dolby's head.
Gostrom, this
You're
is
in the med bay.
Captain Dolby Newman. Good to talk to you again.
So, out of game. They are in a private conversation which Silas set up between their 2 headsets.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
So essentially, we hear
you
you
hear
saying
me in
that,
the
but
room.
God-
Yeah. I don't really need to know your location, but if you could inform us as to any intel of that you have, or give us information included on the Krisk situation, that would be appropriate, as we have been attacked by the Krisk. And I didn't believe it before, but I believe it now. I don't know how widespread this is, but the intel that I've seen from the SSA say that it's a growing problem and a growing concern. And I think we should potentially find a way. And do you know anything about the ship the battle that is happening in space outside of?
Okay. All right. Hold on.
Yeah.
This is we want to do
many.
one action at a time.
Yeah, right.
And also, you're not talking to Gostrom.
I know. I'm just talking
to
in the room,
Silas.
hoping
Okay,
that. So I
Okay.
don't hear a response. I'm just saying things out loud.
Right.
So you're
Okay.
essentially you're just saying them so that I can hear them.
Yeah.
I will essentially summarize what Dolby has said in the room.
Mhm.
Just because
Sure. Okay.
Ostrom technically can't hear.
Okay. Yeah, as Cherokee is saying what you said, Gostrom has been on a little bit of a rant about this god. As Dolby pipes in and starts talking, and you start translating. What does he want to know?
It's are you having trouble recognizing or seeing the Krisk? And do you need help being able to see the Krisk better?
I don't. I am not a part of that. As for the clad, yes, they could use help. Their sensors have great trouble sensing them.
All right. I've had a change, and after the massive devastation between the Telmar and Clad ship, I've had a change of heart of what's happening. One of those creatures touched me, and it woke me up out of being asleep, and it gave
Cherokee, go on.
it let me see a whole world, a whole different world.
Cherokee, you say that to Gostrom, right?
Yes, I'm just doing my absolute best to just word for word. I do want to use a pip so I can tell Godstrom, like in a tactful way, like, hey, Dolby is talking to me in the room. I'm gonna, so that way I'm not like
you let it know.
Godstrom off. Yeah,
you let him know. As Gostrom will kind of, her voice changes a little bit nervous. It touched you. Did it pierce the skin?
we have two.
No, it didn't touch me. It touched Katrina. Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
we have
if I
somebody
don't know that.
has
You don't know that.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, he would have known that. He was there when.
Oh, you
No, I
did?
mean, I know it touched Katrina,
it
but
was-
I couldn't have responded to that. So we'll strike that.
I see. Sure.
Okay, so then I will respond. I got okay.
But you know
I
it.
understand
You know it touched Katrina because you were on the ship.
Yeah, right. Okay, sorry. I got a little bit out of game. I got a little bit confused about what was going on.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So Katrina actually has a puncture wound from one of them. I don't think that Dolby got skin puncture. Like I don't think it actually broke.
She needs immediate medical attention.
Okay, so I thought so, but can you at least? I don't know what. I mean, is this just a normal wound? I don't know
No.
what these things are. Like what is?
To be completely honest, we don't either. We don't even know if they're actually violent or if they just responded to our violence. That's the problem, is there's people within the clad that, well, we are from the SSA originally.
Right.
You need to be very careful. Watch her. That is one way they lay their eggs. On that, we're going to break.
Trina's gonna be a mommy.
So, I'll lead us out whenever,
it.
and
Do it.
we'll get some coffee. We'll use the bathroom. We'll be back to the last part of this episode. It's the next like 30, 45 minutes. All right. Are we good to go for the lead out? Thank you to everyone who's watched. This is end of part 1. We're going to be back with part 2 in about 10 minutes. Of Into Space!
Into Space!
Thanks a whole bunch to all the creators and everything and all the cast, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We will lead you in to part 2 in about 10 minutes. Bye.
Thanks to our Patreon members, Tim Roberts, Daniel Holker, Nostalgic, and Natalia Cline, for all the Patreon stuff. Thank you to all lowercase letters, Mr. Interrupt for the music, Couchfire Media for the production, as well as Twa Replay Productions for whatever it is they do. We'll be back.